Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. I'm Sarah Jane. This is Gift of Healing TV, and I am delighted to welcome this evening, because it's evening here in the UK, the founder of Living Your Intentions in Joy and Abundance Global Virtual Summit. Brendah, I forgot to ask you before we went live, how do you say your surname?
I wouldn't worry about it too much. Brendah is fine, but I'm known as Brendah Ndebele.
Ndebele.
Name. Yeah, Ndebele. Yeah.
Brendah, welcome to the program, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine, Sarah Jane.
As I said, Brendah's the founder of this Global Virtual Summit that is coming up starting on the 7th of May.
Yes.
Brilliant.
We go live on the 7th of May. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm going to first and foremost do is introduce Brendah to you, and then Brendah's going to be sharing information about the summit, etc. with us. So bear with me just a moment while I do this. Brendah is the founder of A Joyful Life Coaching, whose mission is spreading joy in the world. She is a coach with a focus on bouncing back with vitality and self-finding through passion and purpose. As a coach and mentor, Brendah believes her calling is to facilitate the connection of people's big why and their intentions for their lives. She does this by assisting them to dig deeper into the reasons for desired results, then bring clarity and purpose to their life, which enables alignment with their beliefs and passion. Brendah calls this the true path of transformation. With a wealth of business building, over 3 decades of entrepreneurial experience, she incorporates spirituality and creative business experience to bring about transformation for her clients. A speaker and author, she has also been interviewed on BBC, radio, and television. Her background involved climbing the corporate ladder, successfully managing multi-million service departments for vulnerable children. Success in property investment enabled her to escape the corporate rat race. And that's what so many of us want, isn't it? Escape that rat race. Brendah, welcome to the program, and really looking forward to learning more about this Global Virtual Summit and the wonderful people, and including me,
yes.
and Brendah, who are going to be sharing with you during this summit. But Brendah, let's start with a little of your story and how you sort of came to what was it motivated you? What brought you to doing what you're doing and then bringing this summit about?
Of course, there's some. Thank you, Sarah Jane, first of all, for honoring me with this pleasure to be here and to spend this time with you and your community. I'm really, really excited and humbled that you've given me this spot and this time. Thank you. What an introduction. And what powerful questions, because what you've asked me is like 2-3 questions in that. What brought my journey, my story? In a nutshell, my journey, I was born in the middle of a village in Africa, what was then Rhodesia. And really what kickstarted, and this, I can articulate it now in this way, but at that time, all I knew was I reached my teens and my mother said, we are going to start talking about marriage, me and your father, and who we should marry to. I was barely 13, and I looked around all my extended family, the women, and I thought, this is not the life I want. And those who were educated were nurses. Well, they were in the medical profession anyhow, and I even saw they were still subservient to men. And now, men, I'm not dissing you. I love men. I absolutely love men. You know, I have male friends, and they will tell you that I love their company. It's not about that. I didn't want a life of drudgery, so I started being an entrepreneur. I started, you know, whatever I could find, and I knew I could get money from, I started just selling. I would sell ground nuts, peanuts, those of you in the Western world, and I would get sackfuls and I would take them to the shops, local shops. And you know, I got enough money to go to boarding school. And that was it. I never went back to that village. From boarding school, I came over here. I arrived in Heathrow with the clothes I was standing in. I had no handbag. I had no luggage. I just literally had the clothes on my back and my passport. That's it. Not a penny, because I couldn't, that's all. I managed to save up for the one-way ticket. And that was it. And so 20 years later, I actually had my first, well, 4 degrees, and I bought my first property. But I did that working part-time and working 16-hour days as the head of department for children's services, service departments, not a whole children's services as such, but a service department like fostering or children's homes, that sort of thing. And also I set up services for youth, for young offenders, those who got in trouble with the police and with the law. And it was actually seen as a beacon service, still going now. So I was doing that, and simply because I had this passion within me that I needed to be financially independent. Whatever it took, I needed to be financially independent, because I could not bear the thought of relying on a man, because I knew that if I did that, then I would have to sign up to the idea of marriage. I'm not dissing marriage either, because in fact I'm looking for a soulmate right now. You know, it's just that at that time it wasn't for me. I needed to find myself, and I did in a big way. So to really trundle through very fast, because otherwise it would take all evening if I talk about the details of it. And then I got to the stage where I'd, been there, done that in terms of the corporate ladder, and I didn't really want to get to the stage where I would be sitting 7 hours, 10 hours with the politicians at the top. I was offered that sometimes, but it wasn't for me. So then I thought, you know what? I actually had a sizable portfolio of properties, and my builder was looking after the properties, was getting to the stage where he was saying, I need you more. I can't be waiting she's in a meeting, she'll call you in the evening. And I suddenly thought, you know what, actually also I'm not happy. I'm going to, I would wake up, I don't know how many of you, if I slept at all, but I'm saying that because I used to get phone calls round the clock 24/7. I would get a foster carer at 10 to 3. In fact, they said this to the Ofsted inspectors, because the Ofsted inspectors said in the last authority where I worked, they said, you're all talking about the fantastic support you get. Do you get that from the social workers? You get that from the team manager? No. Well, who from them? Because those are the people who are employed to support Brendah. Because we know we can get at whatever time of day. And every night they said, 10, I've rang at 10 o'clock, I've rang at 1 o'clock, I've rang at 3. So you can imagine, I'd broken sleep for years. I was ill. I went on once in a lifetime holiday with my sister, and I didn't know that was the last time I would see her. To the Far East. So Singapore, Vietnam, where someone who'd worked for me, a couple who'd worked for me, had said, if you ever come to this neck of the woods, permanent visitors. So went there with a fantastic time. They looked after us. And by the time I left there, we were there with them a week over Christmas. Fantastic. I never knew how to celebrate the festive season in Vietnam, so I did. Wonderful. But by the time I left, I didn't feel right. So I think my body said, you've abused me all this time. I never used to take holidays because I just worked. And I got to Hong Kong, got into the hotel, couldn't move, ended up double pneumonia. I barely got on the plane, got over here, straight to the hospital, and the consultant, they called out for my consultant. I'm lucky enough to have a permanent consultant, who actually said, another half a day, maybe not even that, you wouldn't be here. I was ill, and this was January 2014. I remember this year in detail to the day I died. I spent that year up until October of that year in and out of hospital. But sorry, I jump a bit. So I went back to work only long enough to put in to take early retirement, and I ended up living in a bad way because I'd overstayed. You know how it is. I'd overstayed, and also because I was ill, and people didn't like it because they were used to me absorbing their angst, being a problem solver. I ended up living badly, and it was not a good thing. But anyway, as I say, all of that year, but I think from the summer of that year, I suddenly realized, you know what? The universe is telling me something. I need to focus on me. So I did. So I did nothing. I thought, I have enough money to live on. This is why I've been working so hard. So I've never had a sabbatical. I've never had a proper holiday where I do what I want and I don't have any appointments, nothing. I said to my builder, no, I trust you, enough. I trust you completely. Please, can I just have 6 months? And he said, fine, because he could see, he said, you're ill. And I said, I trust you. If whatever mistake you make, that's fine, we'll fix. But now I need to concentrate on me. I did that. And I healed myself. And I've never lived back. That's when I then discovered a person who helped me about mindset. And his name is John Asaraf. I actually logged on to, because I'd never actually did surfing the net. I didn't have that pleasure. I just used to be back to my printings. And people would say, oh, did you see such and such? Never saw it. So I just sat down. I'm not a television person. I thought, you know what, let me see what this computer, what the fascination with the internet is. Just did that. Discovered, I think it was the second or third Brainathon. Those of you who know John Asaraf, brain and a thon, but you understand what it means. And if you do one thing in terms of mindset, understanding what mindset is about, understanding how you can train, it is possible to train your brain. John and his team, they put it so well. And John Asraf, talking to him, first name like I know him, but he's been my mentor actually. So I've actually communicated with him. Anyway, he always, every year or maybe twice a year, he gathers world experts in a neuroscience, in how the brain works. And that healed me more than the painkillers I was getting from the medical world, because I really got to tune into discover me from the inside out. Whereas up until then, I was doing from outside in, which is why I was so ill. So I then founded first of all, I founded the Corporate Escapes and did launch the summit. And I had some wonderful, wonderful lineup of experts about how we can, because I wanted to help people escape the corporate rat race. Having seen it from the other side, I thought, if I can help just one person actually who's waking up with knots in their belly, maybe not even having gone to bed, but who just dreading, being there, sitting there and thinking, I no longer get anything out of this profession. So don't misunderstand me. To start with, I loved what I did. For the majority of the years I worked in corporate world, I loved what I did. And in fact, to the last day, I loved what I did in terms of the direct benefits, the direct work I did to help the families, to help the children. That I enjoyed to the last minute. What I didn't like was all the politics, because by the time I left, can you imagine, we'd had from 2008 austerity. The budgets were cut to the bone. So people would come to me literally in tears, my managers, but this family, they need such and such, this child. And I said, but look, the budget, I don't have it. And it used to make me feel so really sick inside, because then I was just literally being a politician, just saying it. How politicians kind of like put a spin on things. That's what I was then required to do more and more. Brenda, don't be so honest. Don't be so open, which is totally against my nature, totally against my alignment. And I thought, every day I'm going in to be the opposite of the person I know I'm meant to be, the person I'm meant to be, to become. And yes, I say I took early retirement, upset everybody and all the rest of it, hence being ill. But anyway, going forward. So I did a lot of work on basis of corporate state. But then I got again, it still didn't, it was good. I felt like I'd made a move. I was actually on the trajectory away from what was in me towards who I was. But when you still feel that, yeah, but. So I had this but. And then I can't remember exactly. It will come to me. But anyway, something happened that just got me to stop. No, I remember now. I discovered the secret. I watched the movie, hence, through John Asraf, of course, and others. Then I found Christy Whitman, and I did training. I trained intensively to become a certified law of attraction coach. Best thing I ever did. One of the best things. Certainly in terms of training, in terms of, again, understanding about the essential, 7 essential universal laws. Fantastic. Best you could do, 12 months, but fantastic. So I did that. And that immediately showed me that I could not continue with the first company I'd set up as a coach, the corporate, escaping the corporate rat race, because of course I was being drawn back to the world that wasn't me. So in terms of the people who were coming to me, they were coming to me with all the wounds that I had begun to heal. So, as try as I might not to absorb, I was still part of that, wasn't it? Because I was connected with that. I was involved with that. And it just light bulb moment. And I thought, no, I can't do that. So change gear. I've set my accountant. You can't be setting up another company. This is the 4th company. I said, you know what? Sorry, he doesn't quite speak like that. But anyway, but he was tremendously frustrated, is the point I'm trying to make. And so I set up. No, in fact, what triggered again was that my dear sister, my middle sister, whom I'd gone to the Far East with, because she'd looked after my parents, and my parents had died, and I thought she needed a break. She needed something, a big holiday of a lifetime. She'd never heard of the Far East, bless her, because she lived in Africa all her life. So she just died suddenly one day. She was fine. We were talking, and I was saying I was going to go and visit everybody. I was going to see her 6th of September. And 13th of August, I was on the way. No, tell lies. I was lying on the chiropractor bench, having my treatment, my neck and everything adjusted, for tension, for stress, and my phone was going like crazy. And he said, "Well, clearly that one needs to be taken." So I took it, and so I was told that she was on the way, and within the hour she was dead. Just had a heart attack. So that just, again, going to Africa, some of you will understand this if I say, when I got there, I had 2 major impacts on me. My sister's sudden death, and she was the one who was then entrusted with looking after not just our immediate family, or as we would say in the West, nuclear family, but the whole extended family, right? Kind of extending out to the whole clan. My father was kind of quite central to the village. So not just in the city, but also, which is the second to the capital city. So big time there, but also in the village. So suddenly who finds herself in the center of this? Do I understand the first thing about customs? Nope. And everybody, of course, is expecting me to know, not just to understand, but to know what is expected. Oh Lord, it was very difficult, challenging 6 months. I ended up being there for 6 months. So that in itself, I tried to keep the corporate escapes going, but you know how it is when you've got, and I'm in my home, in my house, my 7-bed house, literally in the lounge. There were one point, I think the day after, the week of a funeral and memorial later on, there were like 20 people. I was just kind of like stepping over bodies, and I don't do being crowded. I just don't do it. So that in itself, I found my spirit. So I'm telling you this in detail, not just to go on about it, to say, because I went through all that, one day I suddenly thought, I love all my relations, and I love that they are here to support me and to mourn my sister's death, but also more important, it's celebrate her life. And that's what she would have wanted. My sister was a very devout Christian. I'm spiritual. My sister was very devout Christian, very different, but equal, going to the same thing anyway, the spirit. So one day I didn't tell you, did I, that I'd been diagnosed with osteoarthritis, and I'd ended up with total knee replacement. So at this point, I was on 2 crutches, because the total knee replacement, unfortunately for me, I was part of the 2% I discovered from a consultant after, for whom having total knee replacement is the worst thing you can do. You end up actually worse off than you were. So I was on crutches, 2 crutches, and just being around people, and it just was too much. So, and also when I'd had that double pneumonia, I didn't tell you that I'd burst. I'd not just perforated my eardrum, but I'd actually burst both of them. I now have grommets in both ears. One of them actually is permanent. I've got tinnitus in there. So I've got tinnitus. If you don't know tinnitus, look it up. You'll see what I mean. It's like having an orchestra playing. day, night and day, non-stop. So one ear, the left, rather one side, the left ear, I've got that going on, and the other side of my body, I've got the knee, total knee, and it's been botched up. So you imagine. But you know, I thought to myself, I have got to heal myself, because this is no good. This is no life. I walked to the gate that day with crutches, and I was in agony. And I thought, well, at least I got to the gate. The properties, unfortunately, fortunately rather, in Africa, we have space. So you can imagine, my property in Africa is quite big. So when I say I walked to the gate, it's like a good quarter of a mile. But I did that. Came back, I had to lie down. Fine. But you know, and that was end of August. My sister died in the middle of August, and I'd got there within a couple of days. By end of September, I was doing 3 miles, and I was on one crutch. By the time I got back here, I was on one crutch still, but the difference is I'd lost 5 stones in weight. Because what I didn't tell you also, because you know, I am writing a book. It'll be published soon about, but not obviously this way. But, you know, writing a book because what I went through is just amazing. Because when I was busy looking after everybody's needs, being everybody's answer and being everybody's problem solver, I was emotionally eating, because you know I had no other way of expressing my emotions. Nobody was cared enough about my emotions, so I had gone obese. You know, one point actually I was a size 22. I'm not built to be a size 22. I don't look good, and I don't feel good. I feel awful when I'm carrying too much weight. So I lost that weight in whatever year that was, and I've kept it off over 2 years, almost 3 years now. Because, and then, you know, and the point to underline also was that I didn't suffer. I was feeling better each day. I didn't diet. I was eating the best I've ever eaten. I was relying on organic food in my orchard. Particularly, I was having avocado. And avocado is such a rich food. I was having that for breakfast, and then lunch. My niece was actually was interested in being a chef. Thought, oh, I've got a guinea pig. So I used to say, test, you know, just test your meals on me. So you know, I was having fantastic food. She was trying all recipes on me, all natural. All, I mean, I came back here. My youngest sister, because I'm the eldest, and now the 2 middle sisters have gone. My youngest sister came to the airport to meet me. I'm waving like mad from afar. She's just looking around me. I had to go right up. She didn't recognize me. I went into the bank to see my manager, as to see my accountant, you know, both times. Both of them don't recognize me. They just said, my God, complete transformation. But the most thing, though, for me, what I really took from all of that work, because actually it was work, particularly in my head, is that the transformation that I value, that I'm really grateful for, to the universe, for giving all those lessons I went through to get to where I am, is the internal transformation. Because now I'm so much at ease with myself. I'm at peace. I'm content. It doesn't mean that I have got all the things I want. In fact, you see, the less of material things that I've needed, that I've wanted, the happier I've been, the more joyful. You know, when before, you know, certainly I was buying these properties and I was going around and I was thinking, oh, no, this is not what and I was wanting bigger and better. And, you know, the feeling, you know, oh, comparing with the Joneses. I mean, the only thing I've never kind of wanted, well, now in my 20s, I drove a Porsche, you know, so now I'm not into cars anymore, but everything else, you know, I was just it. But, you know, I've even got to the stage where all my nearest and dearest, they know that for my birthdays and for Christmas, or anytime they want to treat me to anything, it's experiences I want. Because you know what? They feed my soul. They feed my spirit. They make me feel better inside, rather than being given knickknacks. And I said, banned knickknacks. I said, one, I don't have the space because I just want clear lines. So Sarah Jane is laughing. Anyway, I think I'll pause there because I'm not sure where I'm going now. Can I pause there? You sort of direct me to go somewhere meaningful, please, Sarah Jane.
No, and it's brilliant, because isn't that just it? We go through things in our life, we keep going through our life, and then something happens that I refer to as our wake-up call. And you've just got to listen to all of these people that to do these things. The wake up call comes in some form or another. I've had it, you've had it, they've practically all had it. And it's our journey that becomes what helps us to help other people. And we all do it in our own unique way, because I think we find we try different things, and sometimes we take aspects of those different things and create something different and something new, but that is a combination. And I think that's what you're saying that you've done. And so the summit, because obviously this program is about sharing that this summit is coming up 7th of May, but I think it's really important. So how did you come up with the summit, and sort of what's your real hope for people for the summit?
Okay. The summit, I was continuing the theme of joy in my head, and actually I formed the company, A Joyful Life Coaching, following the previous one, because I wanted now to focus on joy. I wanted to focus on the abundance and the joy that is around, but we just don't see it, we don't connect with it, because we are focusing on scarcity and lack. And I don't know if you remember, there is a saying that we do not see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. That is so true. And I know that from my own experience. So I suddenly, and more talking to other people, talking to someone like Sarah Jane, I have 30 experts now, massively successful, phenomenally, really knowledgeable, wise people who spent decades working on their particular niche, who are on this summit. Everybody says the same thing. I started doing this work. Someone's talking about happiness. Someone's talking about gratitude. I'm doing that now. That's my work, because I suddenly realized that actually we're focusing on the wrong things in life. And for me, it's about what really then sort of rather gave me a kickstart to organize the summit, was that particularly recently, I feel that both at a micro level and macro level, as in at an individual level, and also at a kind of community level, country level, and the worldwide. Look at what our leaders, the better and good, the great and the good, the presidents, the prime ministers, and so on, the decisions they're making. It's all every corner of the globe right now, planet Earth. What's going on? Unsettled, wars. We have the highest numbers of refugees, people displaced. And that just got me. One day, it was 3:10 in the morning. Maybe I was missing the calls from the foster carers. I just set a bolt right in my bed, and I thought, you know what? I have got to get a summit going and get as many experts as I can who are interested in this subject, who actually have knowledge in this subject. And then from the ripple effect of actually that group of all of us sharing our journeys, talking about how we come to have joy in our life. It doesn't mean to say that we've got the answers, we've got perfect lives, but what does joy mean to us? And there are some tremendous nuggets in there. Shall I say what the topics are, what the themes are, Sarah Jane? Would that be helpful?
Absolutely. Give us a taster of some of those, some of the things that are being shared. That would be brilliant.
Okay, lovely. So we have got at least 3 experts talking about abundance and finance, but finance as in terms of what's behind the figures. One of them is talking about. So I have something like, I think I've got 10 themes. So I'll run through them very quickly. 10 themes. So that's the first one. Then there's adversity and manifestation. So very much the law of attraction here. And one of the most phenomenally amazing, brilliant person, awesome person, is someone called Marcus Aurelius Anderson. He's talking about the gift of adversity. This man is just, and his book is called exactly that. I cried. You died twice on the operating theater. You became paralyzed. You were somebody who was actually out in Afghanistan, training, doing the last bit of preparation to go into the field. And something happened, and he got paralyzed from the neck down. The day he says he accepted that, because he went through the whole business. You can imagine what you go through. Why me? And being angry with himself, with everybody. And he's powerfully. He's a TEDx speaker, and when he speaks, as I say, I just cried. So just to give you a flavor. And then there are three, maybe more people talking about brilliance. Saying that we all are uniquely brilliant. We all have a kind of brilliance within us. It's about getting it out, sharing it with the world. And they're sharing their own secrets of how you can do that, how each individual actually can share their brilliance with the world and make the world shine a bit more and less dreary and depressing. And the next theme is embodiment. And I love this. There's two women here who are talking about, one of them is talking about how to cultivate mental toughness and a joyful set with visualization. And she does these embodiment exercises. I mean, she's done them with me. If you don't feel nice and relaxed, and it's a relaxation that's better than a body massage. It's just so vibrant, and she is so vibrant that the way she does it. And the other one is talking about the importance of finding their happy in life and uses yoga to teach people to do this. How do you find your in capital happy in life? Not for me to try and find my happy by looking at Sarah Jane and saying, well, I want to be Sarah Jane. I'm not Sarah Jane, I'm Brendah. Vice versa. Sarah Jane was trying to find her happy by looking at how I get to be happy. It won't work. But it's sharing more about how you connect with that brilliance within you. It's just amazing. And then embodiment, your body, and accepting your body, loving your body, and allowing it to do what it was created to do. And that in itself gives you joy and so on, because your body then begins to be supple and becomes a more kind of coherent part of you, rather than seeing it as something else, because your body is your house, it's housing your spirit and everything. So you need to take it as a whole. The next theme is gratitude. Oh, blown away. Giving back. Somebody's talking about legacy, how she's actually giving back, and that's what gives her joy. She helps build schools, she helps people individually. It's just amazing. Another person is talking about the relationship between mothers and daughters as a particularly unique one of giving. And the topics, some of the topics, I was sitting there thinking, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that as a niche. It's just, and then the way they talk about it, these experts, it blows you away, because they make every aspect, absolutely live. Loving yourself, from a different, perspective. Our dear Sarah Jane is one of the people who talks, using in this topic. Another one is learning to love your body. You live in, discover the joy of living, again. So, but from a different aspect. And Sarah Jane, of course, talking about the key to your wealth is loving yourself. If you go looking out there in the external world, like, the people went prospecting for gold, what if you don't find the gold? Does that mean you don't love yourself? No. You start by loving yourself, regardless of what you attract to yourself. And in fact, I know from experience, and just Sarah Jane and I have talked about this before, the more you accept yourself, love yourself, and you get into alignment with the person you are meant to be and to become, the more you attract all of the things that you actually need and want. And you do it with ease rather than forcing it. So, yeah. And then mindset first. How to find your J spot. Ooh. Listen, it's amazing. If you don't listen to this one, well, I didn't know I had a J spot, but there you go. I found one. I found mine rather, and fantastic. And then another person is talking about the secret sauce to creating the life you want. So you see how the themes kind of come together and connect in a different way, and all leading to joy and abundance, but from different perspectives, because we are different people. Then transformation, taking control of your emotions and your mind. One topic for somebody. And then there is this guy. I mean, he is. I mean, they're all of my experts. I could just write a book about each one, my experience of them through this journey. But particularly this next one, he is half Japanese. When he talks about what it was like to grow up as half Japanese in America, oh, and he's known as he actually is known for being a mindset transformer. So transformer mindset is what his topic is, and the way he talks about it and how he gets into it, his perspective again is uniquely different, yet so inspirational, so inspirational. And another person is talking about 5 keys to developing the mindset of a champion, because not everybody is a champion, but everybody can be. Is the message? We can all choose to be. It's a choice. It's actually it's a question of choosing to be, because we are already. So it's whether or not I want to allow myself to be the champion I was created to be. Yeah. So, and then wellness. Oh, the wellness universe. My mentor is talking about Anna Pereira. The wellness universe. In fact, I'm using a platform in the wellness universe for the all of the videos and the interviews. And Anna talks about her journey to creating the wellness universe. And again, it's uniquely interesting and very, very well, not just interesting, inspirational, phenomenally so. And she articulates it so deeply, so deeply. And the subtle points she makes, yet they are so impactful. She's an amazing, amazing woman. She's one of those few individuals that when you first meet them, you're just so much in awe. I mean, I couldn't even ask her for her to be my mentor. I just secretly, followed her and let her be my mentor in this way, and even asking her to be speaker, in fact, I wanted her to be my keynote speaker, which she's agreed to. But it took me a long time, because she just, you are in her presence and you feel this energy, and it's just amazing, and it envelops you. And when she talks about a wellness, because we know that the proper wellness is a holistic approach. It's not, you must eat five helpings of fruit and vegetables, that sort of thing. Although now, of course, the scientists and the medics are saying it should be 10. It started off being 2, then it was 5, now it's 10. But she doesn't just talk about those kind of practical things, important as they are, because we need the food to nourish ourselves, so that that's the oil for the petrol fuel for the engine, isn't it? So we need that. But it's holistic, that you actually need to feed your soul. You need to be around the people who actually uplift you. For example, do you know that we are, don't ask me, I forget right at this minute, but scientifically, it's actually been proven that we are the average, each individual is the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. That made me think long and hard. And also, this goes alongside the saying that again that's been tested scientifically. So there is evidence, hard evidence, that says that we need to. What was that? Oh, now I've lost my thread. What has happened? Where's my brain gone? Sorry.
That's
Anyway,
all right.
let me tell you about the last person who talks about wellness. She talks about claiming your brilliance, doing your soul work. It's about wellness. Now, you see, when she sent me that topic, I thought, oh, this is about brilliance. And I started winning with brilliance. But when I then talking to her and then interviewing her, it's actually about wellness. Yet it's from a very different point of view. So the point I was making about the 5, where the average of 5 people we spend the most time with, I think it was about, in order to have the things that we believe to be the most important. I think this is why I kind of my brain, because I'm afraid to even say it out loud. That's why I kind of protected myself, because it says you have to actually let go, because you need to create room for the most important, because you can't just sort of say, oh, because okay, so the people I've got, the 5 I spend the most time with, they are not really doing it. Let me add, or I want whatever it is that you really, really want. So, for example, for me, when I was busy doing the 16-hour days, I had no social life. So that clearly said, I don't want a life partner, didn't it? Because when would I see this life partner? When did I have energy for them? So I had to create this space. I had to actually say, you know what? I'm no longer going to be a corporate slave doing all of those hours, because I actually want a life, and I want to have a companion. I want someone to go for long walks with, power walking with, whatever, swimming with, share. I love reading. Read a book together and discuss it, that sort of thing. So I had to let go of something. As much as I loved the six-figure salary I was getting, I realized that actually that wasn't giving me what I needed, the nourishment I needed. Make sense? So those are the topics that, I don't know whether that's enough, or whether you want me to say, elaborate on any other point, Sarah Jane.
I think really it's just a matter of giving folks an overview, because what we will also do is, once you can send me the information, we will put a page up on the Gift of Healing TV website. As well as obviously having the page that have you got a website, a web page for this that's up and running at the moment, or is that still to come?
That's still to come, because I've had another 4 people in the last couple of days really wanting to be part of the lineup, and I didn't have the heart to say we're done. So I'm interviewing until Monday, 23rd. So then it'll be finalized literally that day, if not the next day. Then it'll be up and running. But it's almost ready. It just needs these 4 people.
Yeah. So folks, we will put the website, Brenda's website link under the YouTube video once she lets me have it. And once I've got some information, etc., from her, I will also create a page on the Gift of Healing TV website to promote the summit, and obviously we'll get a link from her so that you can sign up, so that you're receiving the information about the summit, so that you know sort of what's coming. And it sounds fascinating, and that's what's so great about things like this. So it's 1 interview a day. For what's going to be about 30 days then.
Yes, it is. From the 7th of May to what is last day in May? 31st of May. Yeah.
So I think it's just like, and it's going to be, is it just 1 interview a day?
Yeah, that's the way it's looking. If I end up with 2, then I'll let you know, so you can make it clear.
No. So, and I think that's just it. And the interviews are what, sort of half an hour, 45 minutes long?
I think they've averaged on 45 minutes long.
Yeah. Okay.
Because people have really wanted to share their story. They felt that was important.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? It's just like, so it's not as if it's sort of like some of these summits, which are sort of an hour, 2 hours, or 5 people doing 45 minutes on a day. It's hopefully sort of something that folks can actually enjoy, because they've got enough time to listen to it. And take from it. And this is what I find when I'm listening to summits. There may be just 1 word or 1 sentence, and I think it was absolutely worth listening to it just for that. I got so much out of it, not from the whole, but from. And that's what's so wonderful about these summits, is listen to them. Watch them, because they're actually being videoed, so you can actually meet the people. And that's what I love about video. You get a chance to actually sort of see that interaction. And I think that is lovely. And I'm not going to tell you what happened with our interview, because that was hilarious. You'll have to watch that one to find out for yourself.
My goodness, yeah.
And Brenda is also going to be sharing on the summit, because she is allowing me to interview her for her own summit. That one's yet to come, so I can't give you any information about that, but Brenda's actually going to be also one of the sharers, one of her own speakers, which is lovely. And as I said, I'm very grateful. I'm being allowed to be the one to interview.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we're coming to an end. Is there anything finally that you would like to share, Brenda, before we bring this to a close?
Well, just to underline what you said, really, about I was very keen because, like you, I watch a lot of summits because I learn so much from them, and I like the ones that are less than an hour, because I just think once you go beyond the hour, then life takes over. Then we think we're gonna come back to it, and then just what happened. So yes, so they're less than an hour. I think there might be one or two that are kind of around the hour, but that's different. Also, the other thing I wanted to then say on that point is that the videos will be up, the interviews and the videos will be up for 72 hours. So you've got a chance to watch them over. And I'm thinking about, there will be a surprise at the end as well. And also to underline that Sarah Jane and the others, all the experts have made free gifts available. And they're fantastic, fantastic gifts. I tell you, I mean, I'm just blown away. And in fact, some maybe most of the, I haven't counted yet, but definitely more than 10 speakers have made available more than one free gift. They're such generous people, all of the experts. So because they're into this and their work and being a coach and so on. It's about helping others, making a difference, sharing, and it's such willingness to share of their knowledge. You know, because knowledge doesn't come easy. We've all invested a lot of time and money in actually acquiring that knowledge, but everybody's giving up their time and their expertise free of charge, and I think it's wonderful. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to actually be here and share this with you, and I hope it all makes sense.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you so much indeed for coming and sharing with us this evening, so that sort of we can get the information out there. Sort of folks, do keep an eye, because obviously as soon as I've got that link from Brendah, what today's date is, the 18th, isn't it, of April? So hopefully within a week of this, we will have a website link and hopefully some stuff going up on the Gift of Healing TV website as well. So please keep your eyes open for that and get yourself signed up. I know I'm going to be signing up. So
wonderful. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Brendah. Thank you so much. Next week, folks, I've got a Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls. I'm being joined by my sister Jackie. So we haven't seen her for a little while, but we're joined by Jackie, and we're going to do How Do You Decide? Ooh. And we'll leave it at that. And I hope you will join us for that, because Jackie and I have a great conversation. Just because we're sisters, we don't necessarily agree. And we can come out with different perspectives on things, which is lovely, which creates a conversation. So I hope you will join us for that. Brendah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing with us this evening. And I look forward to seeing you all again, folks, soon. Love.
Thank you very much, Sarah Jane. Pleasure is mine. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Do stay there, because I'll have a natter with you afterwards.
Sure. I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry.
Thank you, folks. Lovely to have you with us. Good evening.